Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final episode of Total Extreme Wrestling before the Road Rager pay-per-view right here for our All Elite Wrestling Say Week 4 of June in 2022. So yep, we're all ready to go. Our final Dynamites and Rampage shows before the Road Rager pay-per-view. Look, the card itself is looking pretty solid. I think we're going to have a decent, not amazing episode of Dynamite, quite honestly. I think, we've got a pretty good main event. I'm hopeful that it'll deliver. But the actual Road Rager card, I think, is looking pretty good. Danielson and Omega for the World Championship is massive on its own. I think that's really going to be the staple of the card. As long as that match delivers, I think we'll be okay. Elsewhere, Keith Lee, Ricky Starks will be solid. FTR House of Black again. Andrade, Samoa Joe, and the Fatal 4-Way for the men's somewhat contendership. So there's some really solid stuff. Even the women's matches should be okay, especially Thunderstorm and Inspiration. I feel like that could deliver. And I think the wild card of this card will be Proud and Powerful and the Lucha Bros. If that delivers, I really feel like we'll have a great show overall. But the big thing is there's no Trios Championship. We've been talking about that in the last few episodes. We've held off and we decided that we're not going to put the Trios Championship on the line at this event just yet. We are still a little bit reserved about it. Instead, the focus has been more on the All Atlantic Championship, and obviously Andrade, Samoa Joe for that championship should be a good match. But yeah, look, the Trios, I mean, my God, I didn't initially think this would be a difficult championship to book for, but I am really struggling with it. The fact that Bobby Fish has left AEW has already meant that one of our biggest trios is gone, the Undisputed Elite. We'll have them for a little bit longer, then we're going to let Bobby Fish go. The Elite, we're going to lose them because of the suspension. 3 months we won't have them available for. So really, it leaves the Pinnacle and the Blackpool Combat Club as our two major trios. But MJF, well, yes, he'll have Wardlow, but FTR, they're already the tag team champions, so they're going to be busy elsewhere. So we don't really have access to the Pinnacle either. So then further down the card, the House of Black. Well, yes, we have them, but Malachi Black is leaving the company. So then we only have Darby. Do we keep him in the House of Black or let him go as a singles? I'm tempted to make him go as singles. So then we lose the House of Black as a trio. So we'll have Death Triangle and the Christian Coalition, two heel teams with the Pinnacle, another heel team. So 3 big heel teams with one decent bayface, like one good bayface team. Middle of the card, we've got Best Friends. They're a decent bayface team. Natural Pros. Their performances so far have been pretty bad, so they aren't really setting the world on fire either. So you get where I mean? Get where I'm going with this? Like, this is not going to be easy to do. We really have to think about, do we try and add a couple more with the Acclaim maybe, or Team Taz? Do we expand them out a little bit further? I mean, Josh Woods and Tony Nese have been kind of an alliance in real life. Do we just add Josh Woods to Team Taz and that gives us a 3-man team? But do I really want Ricky Starks exposed to that? Probably not. Jurassic Express, I have no idea who to put them with. I initially thought Paul White, but they've already got a big man Luchasaurus, so that didn't work. And Paul White, he's been terrible anyway, so I don't know. So yeah, no Trios Championship, and honestly, I don't even know how we're going to make the Trios Championship work going forward. I mean, it's going to be a real battle. We're going to have to create some trios, that is for sure. And I've already tried, like I said, I created the Natural Pros, and they haven't been great either, so it's not easy to do. And who's to say, chemistry will be there. Probably one trio that we could do something with would be finding the Hardys a partner. Maybe a young guy that the Hardys could kind of work with. I mean, Darby Allin teaming with the Hardys, that could definitely work. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. I don't know. It's going to be... That's a problem for another episode. But the biggest problem we've got, obviously, is still the suspensions looming of the Elite and CM Punk. As of right now, recording, still don't know what's going on. It's still up in the air. But we are committing to a 3-month suspension of CM Punk, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks. Now, someone, messaged me and he told me, hey, why don't you just do CM Punk gets beaten up in a backstage angle? I thought, that's a good idea, because initially we were just going to do something similar of like, hey, they're gone and forget about them, like what they've done in real life. But we could definitely do something where there's an angle. The Elite get jumped and taken out. Well, maybe Kenny Omega, or maybe Kenny Omega suffers an injury of some sort. He's out, a kayfabe injury. in his match with Danielson, and he's out. That could be a reason why he loses. CM Punk, for example, well, he and Miro have been going back and forth. Maybe Miro takes out CM Punk, gives Miro some heat before CM Punk leaves, and then gives us a feud straight away when CM Punk's suspension is over. Now, the big, obviously, talking point is CM Punk even going to stay with AEW? So there's a big chance that we may not even have access to CM Punk anymore after, his suspension is completed anyway. So, so a few different things we can consider on how to kind of get through this suspension. But that's for another episode. Right now, we're focusing on the build to Road Rager. Let's jump into it on Dynamite on the pre-show this week. Leva Bates loses to Jamie Hayter, 40 rated match. Wanted to give Jamie Hayter a win, kind of check in to see how she's progressing, and it's pretty positive. 46 from her is pretty good. A lot of people in real life really want Jamie Hayter to get that big push, and I kind of agree with that. I think Jamie Hayter's got something there, and we've kind of stuck her with Superbad at the moment, which is good that she gets more involved, but we haven't really been giving her a lot of wins. So I think we might need to start giving her a few wins on the side just to build her up a little bit. Speaking of Josh Woods, we got him on the pre-show. He defeats Ryan Nemeth. So I wanted to see what we got out of Josh Woods. 40 rated performance, that's pretty decent. He only has about 20 popularity. So he might be a guy we have to call up to the main show just to kind of throw him in there. Like I said, Team Taz, that would be a suitable fit, I think. But do I really want Ricky Starks? I don't know if I want Starks associated with that. It would be a decent middle-of-the-card trio, but I think Ricky Starks deserves more than that. Next up, Kip Sabian. Wanted to see how he's progressing. He had a match with Matt Sydal. Matt Sydal with a rare win. Yep, he doesn't win very often, but he gets one here over Kip. 55 rated match. Both guys pretty good. Matt Sydal 53, Kip Sabian 49. Well, Matt Sydal and Mike Sydal, we still have them teaming together. Definitely could do something more with Matt. He's got enough there to kind of build him up. Yes, talking about a trio. Well, just thinking of right now off the top of my head. Well, you've got Dante and Darius Martin. You could easily put Matt Sydal with them. Forget about Mike, who's just not that good anyways. Forget about Mike, put Matt with them. That's a decent middle, lower card trio. But you could end up getting Darius and Dante some more popularity out of it, which I think is only a good thing. So maybe that could be an option. But again, it doesn't really solve at the top of the card. You want the champions to be that upper mid-card level, and no one else is near that. So it does create some problems there anyways. But nonetheless, that could be an option for a lower card team. On the main show this week, Miro opens things up with a squash over Takeshita. I thought we'd get more out of this actually. Miro with an 80 performance, Takeshita 49 to give us a 59 rated match. So not good. Not a great start to the show. I did it because I wanted to give Miro one really dominant win heading into the pay-per-view, and also to give us a reason to do the next angle afterwards, which was Miro getting jumped by Adam Page and Sammy Guevara, and CM Punk was there as well. So the three other guys get their chance to get a bit of revenge on Miro. But in the end, it ends up being a scuffle amongst everyone because, maybe there's an accidental couple of punches thrown or someone's pushing and shoving to get their chance to fight Miro. And in the end, they all start fighting each other and creates that, chaos, that fatal four-way tension that this storyline hasn't really had. It's been all about, basically the babyfaces versus Miro. Now this is more transitioning over to everyone's getting involved and creating a bit more tension amongst everyone in this match. So 79 rated for that one. Divinity teamed up with the Inspiration to take on TJ and Thunderstorm, so connecting a couple of different storylines here. Yeah, so obviously Divinity will be facing TJ in a return match for the Tag Team Championships at the pay-per-view, and the Inspiration and Thunderstorm, if we have time, will take place on the pay-per-view as well. So yeah, an eye candy match here, 62 rated, getting everyone involved. In the end, Divinity and the Inspiration, the heel team, pick up the win. It's a solid match here, actually. Obviously, being a eye candy helps, but best in the match was Cassie Lee again. I think we've got ourselves a new queen of the eye candy. 70 rated performance was certainly very, very impressive. Dan Lambert is there with Paige Van Zandt, and he's taunting Jade Cargill ahead of the Women's Championship match. Obviously not expecting much out of this match. Let's be real. Jade versus Paige is not going to be amazing, but, it's a chance for Paige to get a chance to do something on the main roster before she leaves, so at least we get something out of her. The Natural Pros defeat the Wingman in a trios match, 41 rated, yeah. Paul White, I expected him to be performing around 60, 65. Well, he's at 50. So, yeah, this team of the Natural Pros, these veterans, isn't really doing that well. I think we might have to transition into maybe putting a young guy in there. At least someone that could give this team a bit of oomph, because it's, three dinosaurs teaming up, basically. It's not working, really, is it? Hey, it was worth a shot, right? But look, Paul White's not the problem. I mean, he should be doing better than what he is doing, but Dustin Rhodes only getting a 42 is obviously not good either. Kazarian 45 is performing above his popularity, so he's the only one on the team doing that. So you can't really blame him. So yeah, maybe we need to try something different. The Blackpool Combat Club and the Undisputed Elite have a confrontation backstage for 78. So even though Adam Cole technically is injured and actually could compete at the pay-per-view, we've decided not to. This story needs some build, and I think it's best if we give it another few weeks of build, and eventually we lead to the Blackpool Combat Club versus the Undisputed Elite for the Trios Championship. It's the biggest match we can do for it. We might as well do it, and obviously if we're going to lose Bobby Fish, then we better capitalize while we can, so we will. Malachi Black challenges MJF to a match tonight. So MJF got himself involved recently in Malachi Black's match, costing him the match. So Malachi Black wants some revenge. He comes into the Pinnacle's locker room all alone, and he's willing to step up and challenge MJF. He's feeling pretty confident. He feels like the Pinnacle have got his back now. He's got back on their good side, so he's confident, and he agrees to the match, thinking that the Pinnacle will be there to back him up if he needs it. Athena defeats Ali in another eye candy match, 64 rated. About 10 minutes, Athena 65, Ali 63. Great stuff all around. Just giving Athena a win, advancing the women's top contender storyline. So she's a part of the 5-way storyline. Wanted to give Athena a win just to continue to boost her momentum. Alright, big confrontation between Danielson and Kenny Omega. The final confrontation before the pay-per-view, 95 rated. So these two guys get a chance just to talk one-on-one, air out any grievances, talk some trash heading into the event. So 95, good stuff indeed. Ricky Starks and Tony Nese team up to see how that team, if there's something worth looking at with that team, but also to advance the Keith Lee storyline. So Swerve and Our Glory versus the new Team Taz, I guess, of Ricky Starks and Tony Nese. Gave it a lot of time, 18 minutes, a long match, and in the end, we actually went with the upset win. Ricky Starks and Tony Nese grabbed the win, so I was willing to sacrifice Swerve here. He gets rolled up with a flash pinfall by Ricky Starks. I think we had Taz interfere as well, so I wanted to try and give Starks something out of this feud, whether it's not going to be a win over Keith Lee, but it's something over Swerve. I'm not too crash hot on Swerve, but to be fair to him, a 70 rated performance is pretty good. And Keith Lee 81, as we know, is amazing. So I like Swerve and Our Glory. Obviously, right now, if they were in the Tag Team Championship hunt, that would be a great team for us. But Keith Lee as a single is just so good, it's so strong, that it's hard to give that up. It's getting the TNT Championship on the map, delivering good performances, good matches. It's helping the belt. Ricky Starks would be a great TNT champion. In another timeline, he would definitely be winning this right now, but I think it's best to keep it on Keith at the moment, and I'm sure Ricky will get his moment at some point. Samoa Joe, with Tony Schiavone, explains why he turned down the offer to join the coalition and why he wants to challenge for the All-In Atlantic Championship instead. So good promo from Joe 82. We can always rely on Joe having a solid promo. Solid match, on the other hand, maybe not. Proud and Powerful challenge to Lucha Bros for Road Rager. So Shivani's busy again with another interview, 66 for that one. So setting up for the rematch there. Main event was MJF and Malachi Black. Only a 76 rated match. MJF grabbed the win thanks to FTR getting themselves involved, costing Malachi Black the match. Well, this was essentially Malachi Black's swan song, I suppose. It'll be his last singles match, and then eventually at the pay-per-view, that'll be his last match. Then we're going to have to, unfortunately, get rid of him. So I wanted to have him go out in a big match, and something that still made sense to the story, giving MJF another big win. The disappointing thing was MJF, only a 73 rated performance, so that's, I think he could have done a little bit better there. Post-match, MJF leaves the ring as the House of Black brawl with the Pinnacle. So the Pinnacle threatened to beat down Malachi Black, but eventually the rest of the House of Black come in for the save. So yeah, we kind of played off on MJF. He can trust the Pinnacle, but also, hey, why isn't MJF backing us up here? Why isn't MJF fighting with us? He's just going to walk away. So still creating that little bit of dissension between the Pinnacle and MJF. But eventually, but ultimately, the point of it being advancing the FTR and House of Black pay-per-view match. So giving the tag titles quite a bit of spotlight in this episode. And as we said earlier, it's a bit of a weaker one because apart from this main event, there really wasn't that much in terms of wrestling to really lift this show quality up. But it still got there. A 77 rated show. I think we hit the lottery there. I think we snuck away with one there. I think we should have probably been more towards the low 70s, but hey, 77 is a great result. All right, now we have AEW Dark here as Will Hobbs defeats The Blade, 55 rated. Will Hobbs sustained a broken leg. Oh no. Wow. 68 from Hobbs, so his performance has been great, but he's broken his leg. Well, his thigh in particular. Wow, so that's a real shame because we're obviously getting ready to kind of push Will Hobbs and kind of keeping him ready, man. Hopefully it's only a few month injury. It could be bad. It could be a long-term one, but that could be the end of Hobbs for a while. That's a real blow to our mid-card. Things are just not going well, are they? Man, that sucks. Paige Van Zant, she puts Red Velvet in a submission to send a message to Jade. So basically one of those segments where she's beating up someone to kind of, say, hey Jade, this is going to happen to you at the pay-per-view. 44 for that one. So hey, it worked out pretty well. All right, we're gonna try out this new team. We're gonna call them Flying High. That was just a quick name I came up with, but I would say that's a team name that's already been used in the past. So if it is, I apologize. I didn't bother looking it up. But Matt Sydal and Top Flight together. I think it works. Matt Sydal 60, Darius 53, Dante 45. We had it as a high spots match, so really a high flying sort of match, and it delivered, I think. I really believe this could be a good trio. We need a trio that's going to be, I suppose, the next trio coming through, like that lower card team we can really focus on to get them over. I think this could be it. I do. 47 for the match against the Wingman, who take another loss. And Dante, we're changing his gimmick. So yeah, currently Dante's got a bad gimmick. So we'll try and improve it. So his new gimmick is now adequate. So yeah, that's good. And that might help him get over a little bit better. So he needed that, I think. Superbad, they get a promo for 43 just to try and build him up. The Natural Pros were defeated by a Red Dragon. So this time a standard 2-on-2 match. Red Dragon we haven't used for a little bit. And Bobby Fish has been obviously taking losses, so I wanted to give him a win just to kind of boost him a little bit ahead of the trios match. Kyle O'Reilly performed at 80. That is seriously good. Fish was good, 67. Kazarian 53, Rhodes 45. So clearly, Dustin Rhodes, Kazarian performing better as a team rather than a trio. So that could be something to keep in mind. But a 67 rated match, and Red Dragon pick up the win. Ken Anderson hyping up W. Morrissey once again, 52 this time, so I think it's improving. That's good signs. Takeshita takes a loss to Danny Garcia. So two guys that don't have enough popularity, but I wanted to give Garcia a win. I don't really agree with AEW pushing Garcia and Wheeler Yuta so hard and heavy. on the main shows in real life. But I do think it's worth giving them some opportunities in our game to improve and get some popularity. So that we try that here. He's not going to get much popularity beating Takeshita, but he will get something out of actually having a match and getting a win on show, a singles win anyways. Divinity gets a promo over TJ, 34. No surprise that their mic skills are not good. And I didn't have Marina Shafir talk. After listening to Marina Shafir's promo in real life, I've decided that she's banned from having any promos in our game. Wheeler Yuta, he gets a match against Lance Archer. So yeah, using Wheeler Yuta here. Lance Archer, dominant win, 62 rated match, which was good. Wheeler Yuta 46 performance is pretty solid. Can't complain with that. Lance Archer 67, good as always, so solid win. Dark Order, they get a promo for 28. And our main event. So we brought in, probably could be butchering his name, but Vikingo from AAA. Now, I've never heard this dude before the PWI rankings came out, and he was really high up on the rankings, so I figured, okay, well, we could use our connections to bring him in, and why not give him a match against Rey Fenix? So, a 75 rated match, Vikingo 51, and Rey Fenix 84, so he's one of the top stars in Mexico, so I figured why not use him here in our show. And he had a great match, so no surprise there. And I think we've got him for a few appearances, so we might have him work with some of our guys. And maybe, who knows, if he gets a bit of popularity, we could bring him back another time. But I figured why not? So one of the top wrestlers in the world, apparently, so why not feature him on our show if we can. In the end, a 52 rated show, we didn't have enough angles and interview segments. To be fair, I did not look at that, so that's my bad. Usually I'm all over that, but this time I just wanted to get this show booked because it was a bit of a throwaway show and I didn't look at that. And we're stacking the deck a little bit for Rampage this week as we've got Adam Page and CM Punk. They get into a confrontation on the mic, and I figured, okay, well, we're not going to have Punk for a while. We might as well have him have a big match before he's kind of done. You know, he's got the pay-per-view match. Well, we don't really have him wrestle too much on TV, but we'll do it here as we'll do CM Punk and Adam Page in our main event. Who knows how that's going to go. So, yeah, a bit of a play on what's happened in real life. These two guys meet again here in this confrontation. I guess you could say maybe Adam Page said something that he shouldn't have. I don't know. Anyway, Samoa Joe and Mark Quinn had a 73 rated match. Okay. That's surprising. Samoa Joe 71, that was good. Only 8 minutes long, so short and sweet. Maybe that's the key for Joe. Rather than try and get him 15 minutes, maybe it's got to be 12 minutes and under. Mark Quinn was good 53, but could have done better. But 73 for this is surprisingly good. Post-match, Christian and Lance Archer cheap shot Samoa Joe and beat him up, 69 rated. Of course, Andrade not contractually obligated to compete on Rampage because he's too busy in Mexico, so we couldn't use him here. We stacked the deck because we had the House of Black versus the Pinnacle, so we now know pretty much Malachi Black is done. He's on his way out, so we may as well do the match whilst we can, because we've done a big 8-man tag team match. Everyone involved, the Pinnacle, they score the win. MJF best the match, 78. Malachi was the best in his team, 73. Well, you got to do it when you can, right? If you can't do it in the future, well, if this is the only chance you can do it, you might as well do it. So we did. And look, the Pinnacle score a big win, puts them over, especially if we're thinking about maybe getting them involved in the Trios Championship. And MJF is kind of building, more respect from his group, because for a while there, he kind of went, he did his own thing, didn't really care about the rest of the Pinnacle, but now he's trying to claw back their support, and he's doing it by competing with them, in the trenches with them, fighting. But in reality, in this match, everyone else in the Pinnacle did all the work. MJF got the tag and then got the pin. So that's kind of how it all played out. Wardlow did the work, MJF says, no, you tag me, and he gets the pin. So there you go. 80 rated though, so good honest match there. So may as well do it while you can and at least capitalize on a good match. Ricky Starks says the momentum is with him and he will beat Keith Lee at Road Rage 66. So solid Ricky Starks promo. And the main event was CM Punk, Adam Page, 82 rated. CM Punk performed at 70. Ooh, that is concerning. Wow. CM Punk's got low morale. bad declining physical ability. We knew that. Face versus face match, that's always a risk. Adam Page 86 was great, one of his best performances in a while, but CM Punk not getting the job done. In the end though, Miro tried to cost CM Punk the match, but ended up attacking and hitting Adam Page instead and gave CM Punk the win. So a way to have Adam Page lose without him making him look too bad, and also to develop the Punk and Miro situation a little bit further. Would have liked to have had a chance to do Punk and Miro one-on-one, but you know, it is what it is. In the end, 82 rated for that match gives us an 81 rated episode of Rampage, so a really strong finish heading into the pay-per-view. Obviously, the big news coming out of those tapings was Will Hobbs, the injury, a broken leg. How bad is it? Okay, it is 5 months, 3 weeks, a 6-month injury. Oh no, that is not good. Will Hobbs was going to be right there in the picking, I feel, for a TNT title shot or something. Maybe, you know, a All-Atlantic Championship match, but right there for a big title match at some point very soon. We're just getting ready, just keep him warm. But man, that's a tough loss. 6 months for Will Hobbs. It's a real shame, honestly, real shame. Now, Saraya joined AEW in real life, so we're going to bring her into our show. As of recording right now, I don't know whether she's going to wrestle. I think she will. I do. The other thing that happened is the owner of Stardom in our game died, so I was just kind of like goofing around and I applied to be the owner of it. And they said, yes, would give you the job. So I don't want it, but they will give you the job. But anyways, back to Paige or Saraya. So that's the thing. I think she will wrestle. I highly doubt she'll come back to wrestling to not wrestle, because she did the manager thing in WWE or the GM and it just wasn't working. She just doesn't quite have, in my personal opinion, the mic ability to really be a manager or in a different personality role. I think she's best suited in the ring. So if she's not coming back to wrestle, I really wonder what purpose she'll serve in AEW. Especially because like the women don't get much TV time as it is. So, but honestly, if she's coming back to wrestle, then we have just signed our biggest star. The biggest star we could get. She comes in with 68 popularity. Now, in my opinion, I think that's way too much. I think she should have more, maybe 50, 55, because she hasn't been relevant for a while. So I might adjust that on our end, because this is the popularity she was given probably years ago when I started the save. But this could be a big signing for us, depending on what she's going to do in real life. Depending. But if she does ultimately wrestle, that could be huge. But we'll have to wait and see, of course, how that kind of plays out. But next up is Road Rager, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be, I hope, one of our better shows. And look, things are looking pretty good heading into it. A couple of things we'll have a quick look at. Adam Page had a big match with CM Punk, performing at 80. CM Punk, he's got bad morale, and I think we might need to fix that up because he's feeling isolated. Now, that's probably as a result of his new relationships with the Elite. So he now hates a lot of people. So he hates Adam Page, he hates the Elite, he hates Colt Cabana. So there's a lot of people in the locker room he hates. So maybe that's playing a big part on his overall mood, and clearly it is. And it's bringing his match performances down as well. So bit of a concern there, I guess. So we'll have to kind of address that. But some other things, Ken Anderson's been doing some good mic work. Still no improvement to his popularity. And the man that he is managing, of course, W. Morrissey, 44 still. So he's getting there, but obviously slow burning. Danny Garcia having a match, still at 20 popularity. Ricky Starks actually gained a bit. He's up to 60 popularity now after beating Swerve and Keith Lee. So he got a bit of a bump out of that. Tony Nese got a little bit of a bump too. So he's at 31, 32, 33. So he got a little bit lucky there. Now, Will Hobbs, of course, being injured, well, he had 48 popularity on his way out. So he actually had higher than that. And as a result, it's gone down. So I think we accidentally gave the Blade the win over Will Hobbs by the looks of it. I don't remember doing that, but maybe the Blade got a win. Maybe we called an audible. With Will Hobbs being out, we gave the Blade a win, so he actually gained a bit of popularity out of it. hey, maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe that's an accidental strike of brilliance. Maybe the Butcher and the Blade will get a push out of it. I doubt it, but yeah. But Will Hobbs is gone, so there's no real point having all that popularity on him, so he's out anyway, so why not give the Blade something? I probably would have liked to have done it with someone else, but anyways, mistakes happen. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're going to be missing out on with Will Hobbs. We've been talking about it for a long time, if you're a long-time viewer of the series, how bad our mid-card is. We've pretty much lost our best mid-card babyface, and that's kind of a real significant blow, and hopefully, well, what it will mean is we need to start pushing someone else. Who's that going to be? I don't know. Maybe Darby Allin, as we said. He's got a little bit too much popularity, but maybe he transitions into being more of a singles. Maybe that could be a fix. We'll have to do something. There's no doubt about that. We'll have to do something. But ladies and gentlemen, Road Rage is coming up next. Thank you so much for watching this edition of Total Extreme Wrestling. We'll be back for the pay-per-view in our next episode. Thanks guys for watching. See you next time.